Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Vinyl Stallions!
So at the beginning of this year, Klep, Vinyl Stallions did not exist.
Fact.
And here we are. Just announced our event that we'll be putting on February 24th, 2023 at the Beachland Ballroom and Tavern in Cleveland, Ohio. We have a kick-ass lineup that is soon to be announced. But man, what a year it has been, from just being nothing to now about to put on this charity event. And again, all proceeds will be going to the Hunger Network. But man, what a fucking year, Klep.
Yeah, what a year it's been. The creation of this podcast, just the music that's came out, the shows that have came through. 2022 is a year for the books, and that's exactly what we're talking about today on the next episode of Vinyl Stallions.
and yeah, you just went through all like the great things that have happened this year, and honestly, for the top for me is just the amount of cool fucking people we have met from just simply doing this podcast, whether it's just being on about talking about it or the guests that we've had on. Shout out to all of you. Like, seriously, it's been a pleasure meeting you all.
Absolutely. I also feel like I should mention I got married in 2022. That's kind of a big deal.
That's a huge deal, and it was an unbelievable wedding, Klep. Like, that was a blast. We'll honestly be posting some pictures about it for just the year recap. There's a great one with
yeah, finally found the Stallions pick.
There's a couple Stallions picks in there, so it'll be nice. We'll be posting that soon. But as Klep mentioned, we're just here to review 2022, and we decided to break it up into two categories. So we're going to be giving our top 5 albums of 2022, and we'll also be giving our top 5 concerts of 2022.
Yep. Very simple exercise, and obviously there's going to be some omissions that are tough. Like, I know we were just talking about that right before we pressed the record button. Like, damn, I really wanted to put that show on, but there were just 5 that were better, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it was definitely tough. I mean, we saw some unbelievable bands, but let's start out with our top albums of 2022. And again, it's only going to be 5, and I say we start at number 5 and work our way up to 1.
Yep, let's do it. You want to go first, or you want me to, or?
Yeah, all right, I'll go first. Since it was your idea, I'm going to take the reins on this one.
All right.
Grab it by the mane. But all right, so for number 5, I went with an album that is very popular to just the general public, and one I listened to a lot when it first came out in May, and then have since kind of been venturing into some more deep tracks. But it is going to be Harry's House by Harry Styles, the 3rd studio album by Harry Styles, and again came out in May 20th of 2022, right when that weather was changing as it was.
Yeah, right when you said popular to everyone, and then May, I was like, oh, yep, that's got to be the Harry record.
Yep. Yeah. So it is a great record with just some tunes. I mean, I don't know. I don't find myself listening to like pop music that often.
I almost think it's not really even pop. It's kind of like indie rock, honestly. It's just pop because it's Harry Styles.
Very true. Yeah, no, very true. So yep, that's coming in at number 5.
All right. Coming in at number 5 for your boy Klep is going to be the album Being Funny in a Foreign Language by the 1975. And this was an interesting album because usually their albums are super freaking long, like well over an hour, but this one was just like 45 to 50 minutes. But it was straight and to the point, like very solid record. Probably their like my second favorite in their catalog. Yeah, that band is firing on all cylinders right now, and either just wrapped up or is towards the end of the tour for that album. So, yep, coming in at number 5, Being Funny in a Foreign Language, the 1975.
And they still have a Jonas. All right, coming in at number 4 for Spruce is going to be Return of the Dream Canteen by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which
Ooh.
was the second album of the Red Hot Chili Peppers to be dropped this year, and was released in October, and was kind of the surprise album that literally no one expected. We knew there was going to be some new work with Johnny Boy being back, and then apparently they had more stuff than they could handle on double discer. So bada bang, another double discer for the boys, and easily makes my top 5 of 2022.
Yeah, and so I guess my next one is just gonna play right off of yours. So I flipped my number 4 would be the prequel to Canteen, which would be Unlimited Love by Red Hot Chili Peppers. And yeah, like Spruce said, this was all both albums were recorded in like the same time frame, but they just had so many songs when they were recording Unlimited Love that they're like, yep, second album, like these are not just B-sides, like second album. And yeah, they actually announced Return of the Dream Canteen on the first day of the Unlimited Love tour out in Denver. That was pretty crazy.
And the canteen was generous.
Very generous. So, yep, coming in at number 4 for Klep, Unlimited Love, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right, going into the top 3 for Spruce. At number 3 is Dripfield, the third studio album by the band Goose, which was released on June 24th, 2022.
Ooh.
And is there anything else I need to say about this freaking album? Because it drills. It has their classic that they've been playing live for a while, Hot Tea, but in a whole different fashion, slowed down into a funk. Features a lot of different just songs. Like we got Dripfield at a concert earlier this year before it was even released. Yeah, man, what a band that has just found a come up. I was blessed to see them open for Pigeons playing ping pong back in 2020, right before the pandemic. And now they just finished touring with Trey from Fish and was playing at Radio City Music Hall and was just selling out like arenas now. It's crazy to see how far they've come.
Yeah, yeah, and their whole spring tour like sold out in a couple days. Like unbelievable.
Hours. I think it was like 2 hours, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, they're just a band that is on a meteoric rise right now, and they're gonna have to start playing even bigger venues soon.
Absolutely. What do you got?
All all right, so coming in at number 3 for Klep is an album called Life Is Yours by Foles. So yeah, another indie rock album hitting the top 5 for Klep. And sort of like the 1975 record, I think this is the second best in the Foles catalog. But yeah, the song 2001 has been on the radio quite a bit this year, and that it almost sounds like a disco song. But that album, just as a whole, is so funky. Like the drumming is amazing. Like it's just such a solid album from such a solid band. Life is Yours by Foles, number 3 for Klep.
Solid, solid indeed. All right, at number 2 is another one from the boys, Unlimited Love by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I had the top 2, or I had 2 Chili Peppers in my top 5. I don't know why. Like I like honestly, you ask me tomorrow, I'll flip flop them again. I'm fake as fuck. No, 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 no. See, that's off the other one. But yeah, no, Unlimited Love. I mean, I don't know. It just reminds me of this year anytime I hear it. Like I will literally always just think of and like honestly it reminds me of just like the Stallions as well. Like it was back in April when we first did our live album review when it came out, and it just I don't know. It's warmed my heart. And it's warmed all Chili Peppers hearts as well, because it's just the first project with the four core of the Chili Peppers being together again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that all makes sense. And yeah, like I'm the same way. Like so I go back and forth on which of the two I like more. But the more and more I've listened, I don't know, I've kind of started to have an opinion. but I could change it tomorrow. But yeah, coming in at number 2 for Klep is one that you've already had, Drip Field by Goose. So yeah, we
Goose.
already touched on that. Just a band that is on a meteoric rise. I'm very interested to see where both their live and studio career goes, because they're selling out bigger venues. Like, they're gonna have to even start getting into the next tier of venues. They're having crazy guests on their shows, like they're playing with Trey, they're having Billy Strings sit in, Big Boy from Outkast, all sorts of stuff. And they've only got 3 studio albums in the bag right now. And I think they're about 7 or 8 years old, but they put out one in 2021 as well, Shenanigans Nightclub, that is really good. So if they, keep making them every 2 years, like, they're going to have a pretty strong studio catalog in a hurry. But yep, Drip Field by Goose, number 2 for Klep.
All right, number 1. What is our favorite albums of 2022?
I think I know what you're gonna say, and you're gonna be pissed that I didn't have this in my top 5.
No, I can't
And
be
I
pissed.
could have put it in there. It's so tough to pick.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. All right.
Well, we'll see.
Number 1 will be Omnium Gatherum
Yep,
by
I was
King
right.
Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, released on April 22nd, 2022, and is the 20th studio album from King Giz. And now I can't be mad. I mean, they literally put out 5 albums this year, so you got a lot to choose from. And again, there's a lot of music that came out, but something about this album, when I would just play it start to finish, like, just rocks my world all the way down to the last 2 songs, Candles, right into like The Funeral. And I would just play it on repeat so much. Like, this, I don't know, that show just fucking changed shit for me. And hearing like probably 4 of these songs, I think, live.
Yeah, it was, either, I think you're right with 4. Yeah, that we got like Gaia, The Dripping Tap, Presumptuous,
and then we got that one
the
with
Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper crashes the check.
Yeah,
With the flute. Yeah, man. What an album. And yeah, I don't know. It just hits home with me, and it is my number 1 album of 2022.
yeah, that's a strong choice. I can't really argue with that, even if it's not in mine. Mine is, like, I guess, a pretty unsurprising choice. I'm flip-flopping with Spruce with the Chili Peps albums, and Return of the Dream Canteen is my number 1 album of 2022. I mean, just incredible that band put out 34 songs between the 2 albums, and just both of them are incredible. Like, they basically released a 4-disc album. You really consider the fact that they all came from the same sessions, like, that's just unreal. Like, their last album with the 4 core was a 4-disc album, and so all this time passes, all not quite 20 years. I guess it would have been 16 years, and just boom, another 4-disc. But yeah, I like the Dream Canteen a little bit more than Unlimited Love, just because it's a little more experimental, a little more psychedelic, which is more, I guess, up my alley. Although I will say, I think I get stronger memories with Unlimited Love, for like the reasons that you said earlier. Like, it was the first one of the 2 that was released. It was, and still is, our most popular Vinyl Stallions video on YouTube, our live album review of that. And just like going into that without having any idea what to expect was absolutely incredible, versus Canteen. We already knew Unlimited Love was amazing, so we had a strong feeling that Canteen was going to be just as good.
I mean, no, you can't. Yeah, like I said, you ask me tomorrow, I'll flip flop this whole entire list upside down. So on whatever day it is, when are we doing this? The 20th, Tuesday. Those were my top 5 albums of 2022.
Yeah, and that other Giz album that came out, that like ice lungs fungi, what I don't know, there's like 7 words in it, but that album is like honestly amazing too, dude. The Deadlicks album, In Disguise, the Trop
Yeah.
album, All the Colors, Matt Moody, Still a Kid Under a Painted Sky. Like there were some great albums that came out this year.
Yeah, man. Shit, that Deadlicks album is probably like right up there, actually. Maybe I'll replace Harry's House with that.
The
But all right.
lyrics.
Yeah, shout out to the Licks. All right, so from here, we are going to go into our top 5 concerts of 2022. And it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm honestly excited for you, Club, because we've been to some together. You've been to a bunch on your own. Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I want you to start this one off.
All right. So coming in at number 5 for me is going to be My Morning Jacket at Meadowbrook Amphitheater, which is up in Rochester Hills, Michigan. It's actually on Oakland University's campus, which Oakland University is like a small school. They play in the Horizon League with like Cleveland State, Wright State, like all these smaller schools. Um, yeah, that show was just absolutely insane. My Morning Jacket's like a band I kind of started getting into at the beginning of this year, and their most recent album that they've released, I honestly just recently finished the last album I had to listen to in their discography, but the one that they released most recently in 2021 is my favorite in their catalog. And so, and honestly, the one they released before that is probably my second favorite. So just very cool. Like their 2 most recent albums are my 2 favorites. Like they're very much in the prime of their career. They're playing at like a solid mid-sized venue. I had like a pretty decent seat, went there like alone just on a weekday show, and it was absolutely crazy. Just people just super enthusiastic about it. I was just dancing with random people. Like it just got off the hook.
Yeah, no, that's a band I would like to see again. I saw them at Bonnaroo in 2015. But I mean, that's just a different whole vibe than just seeing them specifically. And again, my music mind has been open to more since then.
Yeah,
So,
I mean they are a jam band. Like they were playing 3-minute studio songs for like 7, 8 minutes. Like
oh
it
yeah,
was so rowdy.
nice, nice, nice.
All right, Spruce, what do you got at number 5?
So I have a surprise to some, I guess. Well, not a surprise per se, but maybe an unknown band to listeners outside of Cleveland. So at number 5, I have Rubik's Groove, June of 2022 at May Halls in Lakewood, Ohio.
Ooh.
And this was my first time seeing this band who we've had on, and we're just homies with a bunch of them. A bunch of them have been on the show as well. But it is this big band with a female lead singer named Shannon, and guitars, horns, drums. It's Rubik's Groove. I mean, it says it right in the name.
Yeah, the
And
groove.
it was my first time seeing them as like a full band live, and they just tore the place down, and it was such a fun experience. I really don't go to too many shows at May Halls, but yep. So that's coming in at number 5. Shout out to Rubik's Groove. Go check them out. A local Cleveland, Ohio band.
Hell yeah, that is a band that I am just itching to see live. Unfortunately, haven't been able to catch them up to this point, but I know I will be able to in the not so distant future. Coming in at number 4 for me is a very recent, fresh show. Dave Matthews Band at the Nutter Center on Wright State University campus, Fairborn, Ohio, just outside of Dayton. I swear I don't know what it is with this band and arena shows. But yeah, they just sound so good. in an arena, and the sound, like, I mean, Spruce and I got in the front row too, so there's that to also note. Like, we were
Yeah.
literally right by one of the monitor amps, like it was like, a couple feet away from our heads, so there was that to consider. um yeah, great set, great performance, and the acoustics, like, I mean, that was the fifth time I had seen Dave Matthews Band in 2022, and it was the best they sounded. And I think it's because they were in an arena.
Drum beats louder, drum beats louder. Open up your head. Shout out to
Open
Dave.
up your primitive.
Yeah, no, you'll find that guy somewhere around my list pretty soon here. But
Right on.
coming in at number 4 for Spruce is going to be a band we've talked about many times already, Goose, at the Agora on March 10th, 2022. And
Yeah, that show was rowdy.
it was absolutely rowdy. I got a whole bunch of my friends as well, and Klep drove up from Toledo. It was like a Thursday, and the boys came to play. It was the most packed I've ever seen the Agora in my entire life. We have a whole episode on it. Go check it out. It's one of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let me pull up the archives. We can give an exact number, but you're right. That was one of the earlier Stallions episodes.
it was. And yeah, no, it just, I mean, light shows and jam bands. If you're listening out there and you run lights for a band, hit us up. We want to have you on.
Yes, we do. Okay, Goose was episode number 12. So that's an early ass Stallions episode.
Damn. All right, so that's number 4 for me.
Coming in at number 3 for me is honestly another Stallions episode, and I'm going to find the number right now. Number 48, Fish in Noblesville, Indiana at the Deer Creek. For me personally, like, this was my first Fish show ever, a 3-day concert at the Deer Creek in Noblesville is like a pretty damn good way to do it. Yeah, just seeing that band live, which is like one of my favorite bands, like for the first time ever, was just absolutely incredible. Amazing weekend. So yeah, coming in at number 3, Fish, Noblesville, 3-day run.
Klep, you mentioned Noblesville, and it just has my mind all in a fucking jumble now. So I originally at number 3 right now have Dave Matthews Band at Wright State, the Nutter Center in November. Like you just said, I mean, we're front row. The acoustics are incredible being inside an arena. We haven't even like really broke down that show, but like Klep and I like walked through the back door and literally like was in the arena before anyone else was let in. Like,
yeah, I was like trying to buy merch before they even had the registers online.
Yeah, it was crazy. We were just walking around there, and it was an insane experience. Again, front row, and that's why I have it here at number 3.
We will have to do a full episode on that. And also, to your point, I almost picked the Noblesville show because the whole like weekend experience with those Noblesville shows is incredible, but I did go with another center one for like what you just said, that, and then just the acoustics.
Yeah, and so for again, it's another episode out there, but that Dave in Noblesville was a back-to-back show. Just like something about that first night when the Preservation Hall horns band out of New Orleans just came on to play. There were renditions of songs that I will never hear, like Can't Stop, What Would You Say, like that ants marching, and like they ended it with like You Might Die Trying. Like I just remember feeling electricity. So I'm gonna do an audible, and I'm gonna put Noblesville Night 1 as my number 3.
Okay. And so, yeah, for reference, that episode number is 53. That's interesting that you picked just one night, because yeah, like for Fish, I was just picking the whole weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, if I had to pick one though, it would be the Friday, because that one, like you're right, that electricity, knowing that everybody just traveled from all these different places for the same thing, it gives it like a little extra juice.
Yeah, it does.
Like the Saturday show has expectations. The Friday show is more of just like anything could happen.
Yeah, and we're just by like I don't know. It was just such a blast. So,
Yeah,
and it was my first experience in Noblesville, so I'm gonna put that at number three.
right on. Respectable audible. Coming in at number two for Klep would be Red Hot Chili Peppers in Detroit, Michigan at Comerica Park. Absolutely insane. First time ever seeing the Chili Peps with John Frusciante. I had seen them one other time, but it was with Josh Klinghoffer. Still an amazing show, but it was also at a festival, so it was like a more hit oriented show. Whereas like we got some deep cuts, we got Hard to Concentrate, we got Nobody Weird Like Me, we got I Like Dirt, like all songs that you would have to be a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan to know all three of those songs. If you only know the hits, you would be a fish out of water when they're playing those. And it was so cool that we got them because not only like are they deeper tracks, but they're all deeper tracks that I personally am very fond of. I mean, again, like we were like maybe in the fourth row in the pit, like 15 feet away from like Anthony and Flea, like just unreal. The sound was amazing. So yeah, that one is coming in at number two for your boy Klep.
Mad respect, mad respect. All right, number two for Spruce is going to be King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard at the Agora, and that was in May. We've already spoken about the show multiple times, and holy smokes, I just have never experienced. There's an episode out there of that Klep if you have it in front of you.
Yeah, let me find the number.
Yeah,
I know around when it was, so it won't take long.
Yeah, tell the people, because I just go listen to it. I can tell you how I've never experienced anything like it before. We got absolutely swarmed into a mosh pit.
Yeah, we did.
Just one of the craziest, most hyped experiences that I've ever felt. And like right after it, we did that vinyl roulette like 2.0, and like what just an insane time.
Episode number 44. And then yeah, the vinyl roulette that we did like directly after the show is episode 37. So I guess yeah, it took us a little bit to get around to talking about the concert, but yeah, 44 and 37. Those are the two episodes from that. And honestly, if this list expanded to like 10, this one would have came in at number 6. I kept going back and forth between that and the My Morning Jacket. And yeah, sort of like the Chili Pepper albums earlier, like I could wake up tomorrow and feel differently and move Giz in and My Morning Jacket out. But both were amazing shows. And you having it at number 2 is like totally fair.
Hell yeah. All right. Number one. What do you got, Klep?
Number 1, I have Incognito at Aretha Franklin Amphitheater up in Detroit. So this venue is like right on the Detroit River, and it is made like for jazz. But I mean, it's a decent sized amphitheater. It's like 7 to 8,000 people. And I guess to give this show more context, I had seen a show about a month earlier at the same place for a smooth jazz guitarist named Norman Brown. Place was like about half full for it. And so I don't know. I went into this Incognito show like thinking, man, like I love this band so much. Like they're probably one of my top 5 favorite bands. And I just like was just like, man, is this going to be like Norman where it's just like too empty? And like, it was not. Like, both the parking lots were like completely full. We had to park like a few streets over. Like, it was totally sold out. Like, the lawn was full, every seat was taken. And we were like in the third row, and the set, like, the acoustics were amazing, and they just absolutely destroyed the set. Like, started off with like one of my like top 5 to 10 favorite songs, just playing just like all my favorites throughout the night. and I don't know, just the culmination of following that band. Oh yeah, so more context. This is my first time ever seeing them live. So the culmination of just like them being one of my favorite bands, having followed them for like almost 10 years, but never seeing them live, that and just the environment, like that super packed environment and the amazing sound quality and the set list, like all those things brewing together made it my top show of 2022. Might just be like my top show ever. Like I was having out of body experiences. I don't know.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I was so mad I couldn't make that. There was an emergency that came up. I couldn't make it, and we will
That's
go again
right.
soon.
Yeah.
It's all
Well,
right.
yeah. They'll be back at the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater this summer.
Let's go. I'm in. I'm in. All right. So number one for me is going to be one that Klep had mentioned right before, Red Hot Chili Peppers up in Detroit, August 2022, and at Comerica Park. And you did mention that
What
they were
a
also
show.
with the Strokes and Thundercat.
That's right. I totally forgot to mention that. We got two crazy opening acts.
Yeah, it was an experience. Like Klep said, we were right up there in the pit, and like just being that close and like those lights, like just the screen, honestly, that they had going on behind them. It really wasn't like lights. It was just that screen was just insanely captivating. Like I don't like remember anything from that show, and I was like dead ass sober basically. Like I it was just a blur. Like I just was out of body and couldn't believe that I was actually witnessing this. Yeah, what an insane time. Well worth well worth. Klep and I bought those tickets in October of 21, so well worth the
Yeah.
wait.
Yep. And yeah, that you're right. Like that was one of the first times that like I ever like drank at a concert, because normally I just don't, because I don't want to have to pee. But yeah, we had our buddy Chris, who, if you guys watched the Stadium Arcadium episode, he was on doing that with us. We had him there. So we actually had a decent system down to be able to pee and come back, which like we didn't really mind doing when we had all this time in between like Thundercat, the Strokes, and then the Chili Peppers. But yeah, by the time like the Strokes were done with their set, we all three of us kind of were just like, well, one, we have to drive back. Two, next up is Red Hot Chili Peppers, so no more beers, pee, and we're just like locked and loaded in the fourth row for the night.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. No, it was absolutely incredible. But that wraps it up on my end and our end and everyone else's end. If you think there are some better albums, or if you've attended an incredible concert, leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear it, and go check out some videos of it, or go check out the album itself. So please, please, please go put them in our
Yes.
comments.
And we promise it's not a slight if you weren't in the top 5 albums or concerts. There's just so much good stuff happening. We had to pick 5, but yep, there it is. A little glimpse at 2022 for the Vinyl Stallions.
And man, oh man, is there a lot more coming in 2023, not even just music wise, concert wise, but for the Vinyl Stallions. Again, the Soiree of the Stallions is going to take place at Beachland Ballroom on February 24th, 2023. Going to feature 6 bands rotating between the ballroom, tavern stages. The admission will include some food, 2 drink vouchers, and there'll be raffles going on, and a lot of other things are going to be happening. So it's live right now. Go check out the link in our bio. Go just look it up online, and you'll be able to find all information about this event. And the lineup will be coming here in a week or so, and man,
Yep.
it is
And
stacked.
we promise it's a good lineup. Honestly, like you could pick any single band in the card and it would be worth the price of admission. Not to mention, like Spruce said, you get the food, you get the 2 drink tickets. So, and it benefits a charity too. That's the whole thing. It's raising money for Hunger Network, which strives to eliminate food insecurity in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. I mean all of Ohio too, honestly. They do focus in Northeast Ohio, but they will serve any area that is in need, and the money goes to them, and it's a good cause. So come buy tickets and come to the soiree of the Stallions, a night of music.
Let's go. Shout out to 2022. Shout out to everyone that is listening. Shout out to you, Klep. And besides that, my name is Spruce.
I'm Klep.
And this has been the year of 2022 Vinyl Stallions Review. Oh, you're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts.